You're tuned into the It's Real podcast with your hosts, Kayla, Kallander, and Andrew Yaggie. Each week, we'll talk about what happens behind the scenes working full-time in real estate and share with you real-life stories, our successes and failures as we work to help consumers and industry professionals reach their real estate and real-life goals. Here we go.
It's episode 114 of the It's Real podcast. I'm Kayla Kallander. I'm a mortgage lender.
I'm Andrew Yaggie. I'm a real estate agent.
Hey, Andy. How's it going today?
Kayla, it's going great. How are you?
Fantastic. It's so hot in my office that my Diet Coke is melting.
Kayla, it's hot outside.
And in my office. My husband's like, why do you have the heat cranked? I'm like, because it's cold inside in places, It's like to, recoup for the hot weather outside, people crank it on the inside. So I've got my little heater. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway. But yeah, it's been so warm. I mean, abnormally warm. Kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it is and it isn't. I don't know. I'm more a cool weather type of person. I even this morning we went out and we were playing pickleball. My wife and I and our two older girls, we went out and did a little family pickleball outing. And after about a half an hour, Violet, our middle one, she's like, "Okay, Dad." She's like, "It's too hot. We just need to be done."
That's awesome. That's awesome. You're playing pickleball. How do they like it?
They really enjoy it. It is fun. They've actually been doing tennis. So they've been doing tennis camp, which they really enjoy. And I don't know, pickleball is kind of a natural extension of it, but yeah, here we were out and kind of having a fun little morning.
And pickleball is like you let the ball drop right once and then you hit it. It's not like
I think so. I don't know. My wife knows more about it. I mean, that's how we do it. Whether I've never read the official rules, I've never played it competitively. We've gone. I mean, obviously pickleball's all the rage right now. We've played it, went on vacation somewhere, but whether or not we're playing it right, who knows?
Well, it's badminton is when you go back and forth where it doesn't drop, and then tennis you let it drop once. And I think from what I've heard, pickleball is like a lighter ball, right? It's not as heavy as a tennis ball, or is it? Yeah,
I mean it's kind of like it's plastic with holes in it, so kind of like a wiffle ball or something like that. So.
And the girls are pulling out their athleticism, huh? Not their musical or anything.
They're not taking after their dad, my wife would say, since I was not very athletic. But no, it's fun. It's fun to get out and then, hey, just all the different people you see out. And again, just getting out and doing something with some physical activity.
Yeah, move the body a little bit. It's so easy to just get stuck inside and, work and stare at screens. It's amazing what it does for just your mental health, just get grounded, put your feet on the grass. I need to do that more.
No, and there's always more work. And like, even for me, I mean, I get up fairly early a lot of mornings and I work a lot. And so even some mornings during the summer, I've been like, okay, I'm going to work from home for a while until I have a meeting. I don't need to be in the office. And as you know, sometimes going into the physical office can be less productive just because, hey, there are people there that, hey, I need a second. Got a second, Kayla?
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things too, where it's like, it's just natural to talk about your weekend and talk about what happened. And if there are days where I have to put my head down, sometimes I just work at home because it's like back to back to back. And for me, we go home for our dogs every day to let them out. So it's going back and forth. And I'm like, okay, the best use of my time is to just hunker down and sometimes just have to. So yeah, good and bad of office. I know that a lot of companies have brought a lot of people back in the office. And I don't know of a ton, like just off the top of my head, but I'm curious how that is going because I think it's good for culture. But I think if people wanted to work from home and that's what they were hired to do, I wonder how that's playing out now.
It would just be interesting to know how many actually, spend their time well and are doing good things and how many just, squander it because obviously those are concerns when, out of sight, out of mind. And
yeah. Amen. Well, what else is new with you? What's going on in your life? Anything exciting?
We're already talking. I think after this, we might go do some back to school shopping, like for school supplies. And it's like, wow, we haven't even, turned the calendar into August. And here we are talking about school already. But realistically, it'll be here before we know it, like it or not, which, I mean, there are good and bad things about it. It's good to get back into a routine, especially with kids.
Yeah.
But it's like, wow, where has the time gone?
I know, it's crazy. Do they still do school lists?
They do. Yeah.
Are trapper keepers an option? Do you remember that? Like trapper keepers weren't
I
allowed.
do.
Like what the
I
heck?
do.
What do people have against trapper keepers?
Yeah, good question. I don't know if they're on a list or not. I haven't seen a trapper keeper for a while, but I remember having like a basketball trapper keeper where it was like literally
Yes.
the texture of a basketball.
Oh my gosh, Andy, core memory unlocked. I gotta pull this up. Now I'm gonna go look on my phone and see if I can find a trapper keeper that looks like a basketball.
I'll find it a little bit quicker here. This is the it's on a Reddit thread by the look of it. Hang on just a second. Oh, here we go.
Of course it's on Reddit.
Here we go.
Oh
there
my gosh.
Right there. I had that exact trapper keeper.
That was like legit. That was a thing to do. It helped you stay organized, but they like wouldn't allow them in Walhalla. So
really,
I don't know, but I just know I was talking to the my coworkers here, and they were saying like you can't have folders with like certain designs anymore. Like you used to be able to go get folders. Is that the case for your kids?
Yeah, I think so. I think they still need a variety. I mean, mostly one folder, but it's a little bit simpler but yeah, I remember getting different folders, different colors, printing labels off and labeling things. And
you were probably like high, like a detail of everything you had. Like you had everything labeled. You had a place for everything.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, have fun with that. I mean, while you're out, you might as well go Halloween shopping because I've seen all of the pumpkins out, all the things. So while you're at it.
I really enjoy fall, honestly, Kayla. I think fall's about my favorite season. Just because the weather's nice. Still, you can have some really nice days. Nice time for recreation, and probably the farm kid in me loves kind of the harvest piece of it.
Yes, the smell of like wheat being harvested by the combines, like nothing better. Yep, amen.
Right on.
Well, it's around the corner, Andy. Stay tuned.
Indeed. So, how about you, Kayla? What's new?
Nothing crazy. I think August is going to be very busy from work to events to things like that. I just this week took my youngest, Theo, to get his photos taken. I'm so proud. Can you tell? To get his photos taken because he is going to be in Project Runway.
Project Runway?
Project Runway with Homeward Animal Shelter. So they do an event every year, and it's to help raise funds, obviously, but it's Tuesday, August 12th, from 6 to 8 at Brewhalla. And what's really cool is actually, I think that date is wrong. I'm gonna have to double check that. I'm gonna have to fact check myself. But it's basically a dog fashion show, and it's, rescue pets featuring adoptable dogs. There's music, there's food. And it's just a really great event, like well attended. So
August 11th.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's got the wrong date on the site. I'll have to tell homework. But yes, it's a really cool event. So we had to get something figured out for Theo, what to wear, but he had his pictures this week, so that was fun. Other than that, I'm prepping for that Disrupt HR speech. That's been harder than I thought. When you've got slides moving for you and you have 5 minutes, it's, you can't get caught up or you'll lose your space or your place rather. And then we had, I don't know if you remember me talking about this, Andy, but there was like a week and a half, 2 weeks where my team felt like a lull in applications. And I was like,
I remember that.
I was like, that's weird. And within a week, we had 17 people apply, which is quite a bit in a week. Typically, we don't average that much. Typically, I think we average about 35 a month. And so we really saw a tick up in applications, and my calendar was full of meetings. I probably had 40 meetings with people talking about the potential to buy or new construction. People are still chatting about refinancing, even though, it might not make sense rate-wise because there's still things that occur like divorce or they want cash out. But it has really, really picked up for my team in terms of people being interested. So overall, I've just been busy. It's been crazy.
So people interested, but what about like under contract?
We are still getting quite a bit under contract. I think, let me check. Our August is pretty busy, actually. When I look, our July was a little light. That's not normal, but that comes from the Mays, the Junes, if it was lighter. But our August, we have 13 closings. So that's a good amount. And then September, we're starting to see, it pick up, people wanting to get in before school, starts, people wanting to be in certain school districts. So typically we'll probably see an influx. And then after people get in to school, we see it kind of slow down a little bit the rest of the year. And who knows what's going to happen with the economy, with rates. People are still talking, but we did pre-qualify someone on a Thursday night, and Friday morning they were in contract. So I love those ones. That's awesome. Those are the people
around.
Yeah.
Almost a little bit too close for comfort, but
I was like, oh my gosh, okay, like, let's go. But there's so many people, Andy, that they talk about wanting to buy. And I had clients just this week. They, a couple weeks ago, said, we want to wait 2 years. And I'm like, okay, why? And they just said, we want to save more for down payment. Well, I did explain to them that if you do save more, your price is going to go up. If you think of an average, rate of appreciation of 3%, they might be paying $20,000 more for that house in 2 years. And so they're like, no, we want to wait. A couple of weeks later, they said, hey, we're back. We want to buy. They went and looked at a house and they said, no, we're going to wait 2 years again. And so the clients that are kind of like this, my advice to people that do that, that's okay. It's okay to not know, but if you can get really clear on what you want for a payment, what you want for out of pocket, and then what you want with your realtor in terms of finding the house and neighborhood. If you can get really clear on your goals, you will be so much less stressed. You will be able to win if offers are made. But what I do see are clients that are so uncertain, and then they do this with their emotions, and it's hard to watch, because you can't help but feel bad. So
yeah, no, right on.
Seen a little bit.
Yeah, no, we see some interesting situations. And again, some people coming in and, hey, we want to go, we're ready to make a move. And then they connect with a lender.
Yes.
And, oh boy, we're not ready to go yet. We've got some credit work to do. We've got to save some money. There are some things that are out of order. So it's always like, I tell my team, trust the process. And I also tell, people that are coming to work with us, this is the process. Trust it because it works. There'd be nothing worse than taking an individual that has, like, let's say, hey, I need to work on my credit. And my lender says, hey, it's going to take 5 months to do that. I don't want to take you and show you homes, get your hopes up, and now you can't make a move. That's not good for anybody.
You're spot on. I was just talking to my coworker and he was like, the clients that do well and aren't upset or don't have hurdles are the ones that listen to us. And I think right now what I'm experiencing is, especially last week, I don't know, Andy, it was a full moon or something, but there were a lot of clients that believed they were the experts. And a lot of people were going to ChatGPT, they were going to Google. I had clients screenshotting me guidelines. And cool, yes, you can go to Google and you can ask, questions, right? You can do search on your own. But if you don't trust the expert that you came to for advice and you're constantly fighting, you're not going to get anywhere. And truthfully, there's going to be experts out there that will choose not to work with you because I don't want to ask a client for more documentation than I have to. We don't want to ask for things, but we are required to. So when you say trust the process, I couldn't agree with that more because those are the clients that win. They get us stuff that's timely. They just trust us. We've done this before. A lot of pushback though.
It's such a good feeling though, when you do have that alignment, and not good when you don't. And even working with other professionals, other lenders, inspectors, agents.
Yes.
I've had some interesting agent experiences lately. Just between just a lack of attention to detail. Even I see agents that won't take the time to leave feedback. It's like, if you're going to go show a home, do everybody a favor and leave some feedback. And I've seen agents that, have the mindset where, well, I know better. I've been in this business longer. I know what I'm doing. And it's like, okay, but we really can leave ego off to the side because it really isn't about that. It's like, hey, we're working for our clients here and it's our job to help, help lead them to their goals. Like my ego doesn't belong in this, neither does yours. So Just always very interesting when you got to work with people, right, Kayla?
It is. And it's like who you work with, yes, when you choose a lender and realtor, but we all have to work together from, like you said, inspectors to insurance agents. And, even when clients ask me, do you have a recommendation for this, or this? I will absolutely share my recommendations because I know that if they go with these 3 people for XYZ, that it's going to be much smoother. So, you got to trust and play nice in the sandbox a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt.
Yes.
Kayla, big news today. The Fed met. Did you see that?
Gosh, no, I didn't. Yes, I did. Big topics, right? One of the things is, and I love that you pulled up Mortgage News Daily because Mortgage News Daily keeps it pretty simple. But I mean, this is a really short write-up, but it says the committee approved the following statement for release, Andy, and it just says that the federal funds rate at 3.5 to 3 3/4 is supported, and essentially economic activity is expanding at a solid pace. So that's great news, but there's still a ton of uncertainty in our market. I think that unemployment is looking a little bit better. I think that inflation is still going to be a top concern. But with that being said, I mean, it typically translates to for people that are waiting for these rates to drop to 2020 and 2021, I'm going to say something that's probably going to make you mad, but we're probably not going to get back there. So I still, Andy, have clients that will call and say, well, geez, these rates are terrible. And at the end, and then I see their car payment and I see their credit card statement. I just think people have been kind of brainwashed to like look at that 2020, 21 era. But I think it's safe to say that we may not see rates be this stellar 5.5% that everyone was talking about. I think there's a lot of data sources that have come out that have said that rates are going to remain relatively the same. Who knows what this will mean? I know that best case for mortgage rates is, there could be future cuts. But again, mortgage rates are based a lot of times on what's going to happen in the future. So I can't stress it enough that basing everything on rate as a consumer will get you down the wrong path. Talk to a lender, strategize, have a plan, focus on payment, out of pocket, and your goals. I mean, I know people that buy $2,000 worth of shoes or purses, and they don't need it, but they want it. Like, what do you need? What do you want? But stop focusing on the rate. Focus on your goals. So.
For sure. Well, it is hard, I think, for a lot of people, again, when they look at where the rates are, and again, they're down a little bit from the high of 6.85, 6.78 national average. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You got to talk about the goals. We were just kind of talking in our house about our own goals, and we're looking hard at building a house. So much so that, we're honing in on design, and we've got a spot, and we'll see where it goes. Is it going to be fun at the current interest rate relative to, even 5% or 4 or 3? No, but it's kind of the reality of the market. And again, you can't wait forever, and you can't set your dreams and your goals aside. Although a lot of people sure seem to be doing so, especially again, as I talk to other lenders that say, hey, we're down about 25% this year. When I talk to agents that say, boy, it's slow. And, we're talking to clients who are very emotional. Why isn't my house selling? Or, hey, why can I not find the perfect house? I mean, there are just a lot of challenges and a lot of emotions. And, not everybody is cut out for this real estate market, including, Kayla, some newer agents that have gotten into the business, people like Kendra Wilkinson.
Yeah, she went to the social media platforms and really she laid it all out that she basically, I don't know if you saw the video, but she's crying about how she, it's really tough out there. Well, yeah, honey, it's not easy.
I did see that, and then I couldn't. Who's Kendra Wilkinson again? I don't watch a lot of reality TV.
The girls next door, is Holly, Kendra, and
one of Hugh Hefner's girlfriends.
Yeah, one of Hugh's ladies. Then she moved to Basket, had some kids. They had a show. Yeah.
And she got fired, and she was upset, and she went on social media.
And don't get me wrong, I think you should show up vulnerable on social, show the hard work. But I still kind of just giggle a little bit because I'm like, okay, let's pick it up. Let's get back out there. But it's not easy. I mean, you're not for everybody. You are going to lose clients that you've been working with for some time or have been talking to. That's just the name of the game in this business. You just can't take it personally.
You've been fired before.
By a client?
Yeah.
I mean, someone's chosen not. Well, yeah, I have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't think about it because I think last year I had a guy. He was just upset that his commission wasn't trending, and as we got through, it continued to decline. And we're like, this doesn't declining commission isn't looking good. And it was a longer, drawn out purchase agreement, and he's like, "What can you do?" And I had a solution. The rate was a little bit higher, but we could do it. And he dropped me like 2 weeks before closing, and I still don't know what kind of rate he got, but I think he was more mad at the fact that of his situation. So we're not for everybody. And I think as I've gotten older, I've gotten more okay with that. I used to just chase all the time, Andy. Like, I want this client and I need this realtor to like me. And I'm like me or not, I know we offer the best experience for our clients. I know we do a great job. And if you're working with someone else, that's okay too. They probably do a wonderful job as well, or not. So
yeah, go find your people ultimately. And yeah, same here. I've certainly been fired by people, or more so probably on the buyer side, or I'm sure you have people kind of quiet quit you, or hey, they're really locked in, they're in the zone, and then they disappear one day, and that's just kind of how life goes.
Ghosting happens. So when you said fired, I was thinking we're ready to go, and then they just left me. But ghosting happens all the time. Or people they'll apply with us, and then I'll be like, hey, what's the status? It's crickets. And they're like, well, my uncle's actually a lender and we just wanted a second opinion. And they had no intention of using us. But I saw last night a realtor said, hey, I think they're going to use someone in their town. By the way, they went this program. And I'm like, and I sent her guidelines that say they cannot proof. And it's like, we'll see if they come back. You know what I mean? So there's always that kind of back and forth. If someone promises you the world, you're going to go to them until then they sit down with you and, break it down. And maybe they can do it. But the quietly quitting, the ghosting, a lot.
Even I look at, and again, you have more knowledge than maybe that other lender or whoever else has. Like, hey, we're going to go that route. I still think of some of my experiences and with some lenders where they did not do all of the necessary due diligence until 2 weeks before closing. I mean, normal things that you would do early on. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I guess we can't lend to these guys.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, Andy, is people want to shove a pig down a snake's throat in this business. And that's where I struggle as a lender is, okay, I get you don't want, hear me out, realtors, you want to get clients into a home so they don't lose it. But if they haven't met with a lender and they don't know their goals, we lenders are saying, okay, I got to get this letter out or they're going to lose the house. So I either slow down and they lose it potentially, or I just speed up and we'll figure it out later. Those are the times I feel like things blow up. And that's what I feel on my end. When I feel pressure to get a letter out in a day and the client's got 20 tax returns, that puts pressure on us to perform. And sometimes we can't. We need other data from accountants or financial advisors. And so to me, I think that, people just need to slow down a little bit, but yet sometimes the business doesn't. So
I hear you.
You caught me myself last day.
Yeah, well, it's okay. We gotta have one of those, and maybe this is just kind of your therapy. We'll call this therapy, business-related therapy. But one note on the Fed announcement, Kayla, that I thought was really kind of interesting was, the fact that there were three individuals on the Federal Reserve Board on the committee that dissented, so to speak, that they thought that, hey, we should hike rates 0.25% based on what they're seeing at the meeting. And so that was kind of interesting. I was reading one place that there hasn't been so much disagreement for a long time on the Federal Reserve Board. But I mean, my bet is I think we're going to see rates go up at some point this year, just with everything going on economically. I don't think it's going to be quick or easy, to get To wrap up our conflict overseas, I think energy prices are going to continue to be challenging, and I think we could even see a rate hike this year.
I think that as well. I think that we will see, if not a lot, slightly unfavorable for mortgage rates in the near term and throughout the year. I think it's because there's just been this constant comment about inflation. I think that we will see elevated rates or modestly higher rates throughout the end of the year.
So we talk a lot about doom and gloom and clients and challenging people and rates and guys falling, but you should still buy a house anyway and get a mortgage. But there are a lot of good things that are going on out there too. And hey, it's always fun to see one of our home states in the news for something positive too. Did you read this, Kayla?
I did. I didn't get into the weeds, but it was cool to see that North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota were, at the top rankings. And it was due to, if I'm reading this right, the economy overall, which is really cool. I read a lot about this says healthcare quality is a top rank, education, where it's pre-K through 12 ranking is. Higher education. I saw jobs was one of the reasons that, the availability of jobs. This also says a median household income of $77,871. Andy, what do you think about that median household income? Do you feel like that's pretty strong for two working, or maybe it's just one, but what do you think about that?
I don't know. So what did it say? I've got to read it again. The state ranks number 7 in opportunity and number 10 economy overall with a GDP of 81.9 billion, median household income of 77. I mean, I guess that's on the upper end of things. Obviously we've seen things pretty stagnant in the economy, both with wage growth, and of course costs keep going up. I think it's challenging, when you have a median income there. I mean, that it's tough to buy a house.
Well, that's what I was thinking is when I see that is hard. And that's two people making less than 40 grand a year. Like, that surprises me. But South Dakota was on there as well. I think it says South Dakota's biggest weakness is crime and corrections, where it ranks number 41 nationally. That's interesting.
One thing that I always thought about more rural areas is, hey, it's a little bit easier out here, less populated, less crime. But as I've talked to like sheriff's deputies over the years, they say, honestly, it's worse because, again, you see more challenging things, a lot more drugs in rural areas, just when there aren't as many things to do, or maybe not as much support for those that do have, abuse issues.
Yeah, interesting. I never thought of it like that, or they're bored. And then Minnesota's number 3 ranking. So broad, consistent performance across most categories. Kind of surprises me. Minnesota's number 3, I'll be honest, but just because of the cities. But state carries a AAA stable credit rating, and median household income. This also surprised me, 87,000. Not that much higher than North Dakota, but 24 overall. So, I mean, it's still a great place to live. I still feel a lot safer here than I do in most places. Even when I'm in the airports, I feel unsafe. Chicago, Vegas, you name it. People are interesting. So
there are interesting people everywhere.
Yeah, well, I just feel a little bit safer. And I feel safer in West Fargo than I do downtown. So there's even that distance as well.
Well, downtown, I mean, Fargo is getting a lot of big city problems these days. And I mean, it wasn't too many years ago. I mean, how they were talking about how awesome downtown Fargo was. But yeah, obviously there have been some challenges.
And I think with growth, like, that's inevitable. I mean, it's going to happen. But there's, knock on wood, been low crime where we're at. I mean, the kids are out playing. I saw the other day a kid walking across the street, like 6 houses down to the neighbors. I'm like, oh, is that okay? Because I mean, I don't know anymore, but it's a great place to live. Positives and negatives everywhere. The wind is a negative. So it is what it is, right?
Kayla, as we wrap up today, what is a parting word of wisdom?
Oh my gosh, why do you always put me on the spot like this? Be more curious. I would say I've never regretted being more curious about a client or a person. I think that when you ask people questions, it triggers dopamine, and people like to talk about themselves and they like to feel like they're being heard. So try being more curious this week and just ask an extra question, not a fluff question like, how's the weather? But ask a deeper question. Go deeper, be more curious. Those are my words of wisdom this week.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Do you want to add any words of wisdom?
Oh boy, what could I add? Well, I would say ultimately, I think there are a lot of people out there. The more I talk to people, like there's just so much noise and so many options in life. Even looking at houses, way too many options, so much noise. So I
Yeah.
would say ultimately, work to find your purpose and work to simplify your life as much as possible. I'm, increasingly, how I'm wired, I'm, chasing any number of things and got to try this, got to try that. But lately, especially, and it's probably my kids growing up too, and just
Mhm.
recognizing that, okay, by the time your child's 12, you will have spent the majority of the time you're going to spend with them in their life, because from there on out, it's like, well, I want to do things with friends. I've got activities, and once they leave the house, again, another dramatic shift. So I'm more in tune with it. Again, growing up on a farm, it's like work, 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 work. I need to be in the office before anybody gets there. I need to stay later, but increasingly later, like I said today, it's like, hey, spend the time, play pickleball. Take that time in the morning. Yes, I could be on calls. Yes, I could be, but hey, take that time, because you're not going to get it back. And even as I look, I'm big into real estate. I've flipped houses. I've done some new builds. I've had rentals. I'm trying to cut as much of that as possible out of my life. You've been getting rid of the majority of our residential rentals and looking at exchange options, just because it's like, for this season of life, I have too many things going on. I want to be at home. I want to be at home, enjoying time with my kids. Or like the other day, Ivy, our youngest, just like, hey, Dad, take a picture of me the same way you did when I was a baby. And and two, we sit and we play and we do music and we
You
have
got
a
to
lot
turn
of.
that up, Andy. We got to hear that.
I'll give you a quick clip of it. I'll click on it.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And she sings along. But yeah, I think, I don't know, as I get, I want to say older, maybe as I get wiser, it's like, what I notice is there's, when I bring something up, what happens to my shoulders? Do I tense up, or do I feel like, yeah, if I just let that go? And there are some things in my life that I'm like, I should just let that go. I should stop doing that. Stop, pouring into that, because we should be pouring into the things that bring us joy. And if it's not, then peace out. Time to say goodbye.
We've just got to program a little button that sings "Let It Go, Let It Go."
Oh my gosh, we could totally do that. I mean, it feels productive and you feel guilty letting things go, but sometimes, as I told my husband, I said if you say yes to that, you're saying no to this. And he's like, that's
Exactly.
yeah. And that's what we're doing. So we're just getting a little wiser. That's all, Andy.
Older and wiser.
Amen. So,
Well, that puts a wrap on 114. Have a great rest of the week, Kayla.
I will if you will.
See
Bye.
ya.